my prayers go out to everybody, and it's throughout the whole county. I mean, Greenville's just the beginning of it all.
I'm healthy, whatever, and start over. So it'll be hard, but I'll manage.
Well, it's completely gone, and all our neighbors, great neighbors, they're leveled.
Well, this morning, whole towns leveled, lives ruined, and 4 people still missing in Plumas County. 2 major wildfires have devastated communities, and they continue to burn across our area. Well, that's the reality that many people are grappling with in the area on this Friday morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Blend. I'm Bria Love. Let's get you up to speed on this situation. Check out this map the city of Redding put together. You're looking at the Dixie Fire here. Those red and yellow dots are points of intense heat. This one is burning in Plumas County. It's more than 361,000 acres and 35% contained. That's about 80,000 acres larger than it was yesterday morning. That makes it the 6th largest wildfire in the state's history. Thanks in part to favorable weather conditions, the fire exploded through the towns of Greenville and Canyon Dam over the last 24 hours. And you can see here that it's carving a path north and east of Lake Almanor. Greenville and Canyon Dam are southeast of the lake. The flames show these sounds no mercy. You see here exactly what we're talking about. This video is from Canyon Dam. Those homes sit right next to the water along Highway 89. While there's no official estimate, the officials say there could be more than 100 homes damaged just south of the area. Officials are also asking the president to declare a state of emergency. In Placer and Nevada counties, the river fire is leveling homes and forcing more than 5,000 people to evacuate. It's 2,600 acres and just 15% contained this morning. That's about a 1,000-acre increase from yesterday. At least 1 firefighter and 2 other people are hurt this morning. Take a look at your screen. You can see the flames in this video. The fire started on Wednesday. It spread quickly near the city of Colfax. Governor Newsom declared a state of emergency in Placer and Nevada counties to help with the resources. There's a lot to cover on this morning, so we're going to set the table with team coverage. Meteorologist Rob Karlmark is tracking the weather and its role in fueling these fires. ABC 10's Lena Howland is standing by at the river fire, which has devastated parts of Placer and Nevada County. But first, ABC 10's Chris Thomas is at the biggest fire in the state. That's the Dixie Fire, which has now leveled whole towns. Chris?
I mean, it is just really hard to even believe, I will tell you. In this area, we've been talking about the intensity of those flames, kind of like a bomb went off. If you look behind me, you see, I believe this is the old Way building right off Main Street. You'll see how the bricks have just been blown out into the street. And as we were driving in, we actually had to get a police escort driving in because there on 89, you still have this wall of flames coming into town. And one of the things that we wanted to stress is that many people who live here have a message for firefighters and the hard work that they're doing, even as we speak, to try and save lives and property. Take a listen.
I want to thank them so much for doing their job and getting out there and trying to control this. And I wish, I wish it was over for them too.
Sadly, this is likely far from over. We have ash raining down on us now. There's like this eerie scene here. There's so much smoke in the air. Really, the only light that we're getting is from our lights that we have and some of the other media, national media, that have gathered here today. And so we will be on scene, documenting for you what is an absolute tragedy. We'll be talking to people who've lost everything. Of course, we'll have much more throughout the evening and online at abc10.com. But for now, we want to get you over to Lena Howland tracking yet another fire.
Well, Chris, this is another shelter set up here at Bear River High School. If you take a look right over this way, we have just under about 100 people staying here right now that have now spent 2 nights away from their homes. So many of them have told me they're feeling anxious, just ready to get back and see if their homes are still standing or not. This is video of what's left of a home on White Oak Drive. The homeowner told me they had just moments to leave when they saw the flames approaching and didn't have time time to grab any valuables. That's a similar story for a lot of the evacuees we talked to. At this shelter, we talked to two women, both in their 80s, that say in their lifetimes, wildfires have forced them to evacuate 5 times. So far, they've been lucky to return home each time, and they're hoping for the best once again.
The caliber of people that we have, working the fires and the Red Cross and all that, I just have to trust that everything's going to be okay.
There are 2 different evacuation centers set up right now, the Bear River High School here in Nevada County and the Regional Park Gym in Placer County. Now, evacuees here at the high school are hopeful to see more containment around the fire today, and really they are keeping their fingers crossed that they can go home soon. Back to you.
Lena, thank you. We are keeping our fingers crossed for them as well. We'll check in with both of you in a little bit. This morning, as the Dixie Fire moves north, it is painting the skies orange dozens of miles away in Susanville in Lassen County. Susanville is not under an evacuation order this morning, but some people we talked to have decided to leave. And Rob, as we know, you don't have to wait for officials to tell you to go. If you feel like you need to, it's best to just do it.
And the way that these fires have been moving over the last couple of days, spotting miles ahead of containment lines, these things unfold very, very quickly. Let me get to the positive part of the forecast first. The winds will not be as strong in those areas today, so that's good news. That means fire behavior should start to ramp down a little bit. But the directional change of the wind is really important. It's going to spread the fire growth into brand new areas. And it's also going to spread out the smoke and haze to many more places. So yes, it's a hot forecast, but not as windy. And I think smoke becomes a huge story today. It already is this morning for some communities in the foothills. Now, you could see off to the north, we saw a number of little lightning strikes there, but no real rain. So nothing really is coming in weather-wise that's going to change the nature of what's going on for these fires. Just subtle changes day to day. Big news, no red flag warning, but still rather warm and breezy and dry in those locations. Smoke and haze is going to be the big story today, because what's going to happen is that the smoke and haze is closer to the fire, but then they're going to move down canyon. Once they hit the valley floor, I might want to add, there are a number of huge fires in the coastal range as well, and they're going to contribute to the smoke and haze. That's going to move down the valley and become a major story today. It's difficult to say how low an elevation it's going to hit. It's definitely going to be overhead. You'll see it, you'll notice it, but in some communities, certainly for the foothills, it's going to be a major story, as it could be hazardous to your health if it's concentrated enough, and you can see it's going to spread out over the next couple of days for sure. Hot and smoky is the forecast. If you smell it, you go indoors and wait it out, especially if you're sensitive to smoke, and it's going to change hour by hour. The easiest way to know if it's in your neighborhood is that you'll smell it. Your nose will tell you if smoke particles are in the air. If you're not smelling it, that means it's not in the area, or at least not high enough to really affect you. We see some big time cooling in the mountains, but for everybody else, we're going to be looking at a hot day near 100 degrees. A lot of kids getting back to school today. I added in one extra thing, because for many of us this morning, especially for the valley locations, Lodi and Stockton, which have been going back to school this week, it's been nice in the morning. But what changes today is that we're getting hot again, and we're looking at smoke moving in by about lunchtime, and definitely here by this afternoon. Back to you.
Rob, thank you. 5:36 this morning. Take a look at this simulation from the Crowd Emergency Disaster Digital Corps. It shows you the progression of the Dixie Fire between July 15th and yesterday. On Wednesday, the fire traveled 14 miles, putting it at the doorstep of Chester and Greenville. This type of fire behavior is exactly why fire officials say they're concerned.
Across the state, it's critically dry. You cannot expect that fires are going to stay in one place if left unchecked. They can burn 15 miles in one day. We're seeing it right now on the Dixie Fire.
Well, he says the worst part of fire season is still ahead of us. The windy season is coming, and that can push fires a lot further than 14 miles in a single day. Well, that's why it's more important than ever to be prepared. If officials tell you to go, you should go, but you can't always wait for somebody else to make that call. ABC 10's Brandon Ritteman explains why.
Most of us are used to getting alerts for everything. But in a fire, you don't have to wait to be told. Alert systems don't always work. There's no substitute for your own judgment to decide when to go. Deadly wildfires don't always look like a wall of flames. Thick black smoke blowing over your head or falling embers are signs to get out. Don't be the person in your group who stays behind to save the house or put together one more box of stuff to save. Your loved ones may need your eyes and ears for job number one, staying alive. Nothing in your house is more important than that.
And you can find a full list of evacuations on the river fire and other fire resources on our website right now. You can also scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen with the camera on your cell phone. That will send you a link right to your phone full of helpful information. Let's get to some other top stories that we're following for you this morning.
You can see that silver sedan right there, the driver driving extremely recklessly and apparently armed and dangerous. Look at as he flies through this intersection right into a power pole, flipping over, and there goes the sparks. Look at that.
Rylan, check that out. A wild car chase that ended in a dramatic scene in Los Angeles last night. 5 men eventually came out of that car and police took them into custody. They should be glad they survived it. California is now requiring all of its roughly 2.2 million healthcare workers and long-term care workers to be fully vaccinated. The state says that needs to happen by the end of next month. Last month, the governor said these workers would have the option to get vaccinated or undergo weekly testing, but now they do have to be vaccinated. It comes as cases and hospitalizations surge due to the Delta variant of COVID-19. Let's take a look at what's coming up on Morning Blend. Rob, we're taking another check of the forecast.
That's right. We're going to see a lot of changes today. Today we're going to get hot. Many places are going to get smoky for the first time in quite some time. And that's going to be happening later on today. But this morning, the weather is nice and it's going to be perfect for all those kids heading back to school, Mark.
Here we go. Oh, it's an exciting day for the stars coming down the red carpet. And by stars, I mean here in Stockton, kids arriving for their first day back at school. We'll get to know them, find out what they're excited about, what they're wearing as Morning Blend continues. Smile and wave, superstars. Smile and wave.